YouTube, what the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage here, and I am back on Total War Rome 2 with another online battle, and once again against the same opponent from the last time. We got matched against each other again in quick battle. This time I am playing as Rome. He's going to play as Carthage, so I'm playing on the reverse end of one of my favorite rivalries. He's bringing Peltist again, which seems to be common for him. He's brought a cheap line of late Libyans. And then it looks like he's brought 4 Campanians and an elephant, and that's where his killing power is intended to be. Campanian Cav are brutal in melee combat. So I think he's trying to gain a decisive Cav advantage, use his cheap infantry to fix, and use his elephants to finish. Very much like what you saw me do with Carthage against Rome not too long ago. My army is a bit varied. I have 4 Avocati and 4 Principes. I brought 4 rather cheap infantry, just trying to maximize on Roman cost effectiveness. And then I brought 4 Avocati. Air, you hate Avocati. Why are you using them? Again, I want to know more about these units, so I'm going to use them. It's kind of like Rome 1. There's certain situations in which you use urban cohorts, like them or not. And I'm not a big fan of how cost effective they are here, but what the heck. I just want to see them in combat and let you all watch them play out, let me use them, and just kind of get a feel for them, and it'll kind of help me understand whether or not I really think that they're overpowered or whatnot. And again, I really shouldn't complain against Rome too much, because Rome is a very beatable faction for many other factions. They're very strong, but they're definitely not the strongest faction in the game. I've got 2 Syrian archers for elephant killing, and then I've got 3 levies for backup elephant killing, because I really expected my opponent to bring elephants and try and do the same thing to me with the elephants that I did to him with the scythe chariots in the last battle, because again, that's Rome's weakness. Their infantry can be easily wrapped up by elephants, and sure enough, my opponent's brought them. So a smart move on his part. He's got his African elephants there, and then on this flank he's got 2 Celtic light horse. He's got a lot of cavalry on the field. Obviously he wants to use the light horse to get to my skirmishers, and he wants to use his more powerful horsemen to kill my own cav, or to get around my flank and do a rear charge. Again, he needs his elephants and his Campanian cav to do the killing, because his infantry corps is weak. Again, very similar type strategy to what I did against Rome the other day. He just needs the right scenario, and it won't be that hard to wrap me up. I am using an infantry reserve system here, I guess system. It's not like there's real system to it. I have my Principes up front because I don't want to expend my best infantry on his weakest. And I've got my Avocati cohort in the back because they're stronger and harder to rout. So that's the idea. I'm going to try and fight in 2 lines to keep a fear wrap-up from happening quickly, because those can be pretty painful. Here's kind of the quick overhead. I'm going to play more defensive in this battle than I normally do, because I don't want to get too offensive and open myself up to an elephant charge. I put this auxiliary cav into Flying Wedge. I don't really know if Flying Wedge is good or not. It boosts their attack and their charge bonus. It does at the expense of melee defense, but I just kind of want these guys to do more damage, and for some reason it seems like units in the Flying Wedge last a little longer. I don't know if that's true or not, but again, just testing. So I'm going to go ahead and charge his cheap infantry with my cheaper infantry and let the fight begin. I've got my Syrian archers shooting at some of his Libyan peltists, trying to kill a few of them, because what I want to do is get the fight started. And it goes down in much the same way that I would expect it to. He's going to charge me with his mercenary Campanians. That's going to be a very tough fight, but an auxiliary cav is a fairly strong unit. It'll hold up for a little while. Same thing on this flank. He's going to charge in with his Campanians, and I'm just going to try and countercharge and hold him there for a second. And then he's got a light horse coming into my Praetorian cav. I brought 1 extra legionary cav, and I was going to reinforce this flank, but I see his Celtic light horse breaking through the flank over here, and I know that I have to quickly stop it from getting to my skirmishers, because it's going to take a little longer for these heavier Campanian cav to swing around here. So I've got a minute, and I need to hold them up. His elephants start to come through. I leave a braced Avocati cohort as a target and also a slowdown. And then I'm going to immediately change all skirmish fire, including my levies and Syrian archers, immediately to his elephants. And let's see what happens here, whether his elephants plow through or get stuck. So his charge order is clearly on my Avocati cohort, and here come the javelins. And they're going to be coming in hordes. So you can see these elephants quickly getting turned into pin cushions. And this is where levies can come in handy. They're not particularly strong, but they are particularly cheap. And they can help you pour in. Wow, that poor elephant is getting an anal probing with all of these javelins. Yeah, I'd die too in that scenario, pal. That looks like it hurts. And this one's got a whole bunch stuck in him too. So yeah, I'm already taking down elephants. I popped the Draco ability with my nearby legionary cav to hurt his elephants even more. And yeah, the javelins and the arrows are just flying in force. And you can see his men here getting killed. So his elephants are getting neutralized, which is a key part of this battle. And then I've got his cavalry fixed for the most part. He is finally going to get this mercenary Campanian cav into all my skirmishers, and there's nothing I can do about it. I just take my general and it's like, well, gonna run away and live. I figure I'll come around here and go after his skirmishers. I don't think his one mercenary Campanian cav is going to be quick enough or strong enough to affect the battle, because his Libyans are already dying, even though they're in hoplite phalanx. They won't last long against Roman infantry. Libyans, they're okay when you put them in phalanx, but don't expect a long holdout time like you get with more powerful hoplites. So basically his Libyan line's collapsing. His peltists have taken some damage. He did destroy all my skirmishers, just racked up a phenomenal number of kills right there in my skirmishers. And but his cavalry has been fairly effectively negated. You can see here that he paid a high price. His mercenary Campanian cav's basically only going to get to kill an auxiliary cav. That's not a good trade-off. His light horse got completely stopped here by my legionary cav. I still have one Syrian archer alive, even though his Campanian cav quickly went into the back of my Principes, like they should. But by the time they got into the back of my Principes, his infantry had routed up front. So he's going to have to turn around, come back after my archers who were shooting him in the back, which just means my infantry can continue to kill his own. So my opponent's plan was a good one. Get into my flank, wrap it up quick. But you see how that reserve unit of Evocati cohort played a huge role over here, just slowing down his elephants, even for a second, to give my men enough time to kill them. And once he lost the elephants, it's pretty much game over. You know, I had enough infantry that his Campanian cav probably wasn't going to be able to seal the deal. So in this case, it kind of paid off to be a little more defensive, to kind of let my opponent come to me. It's risky, because if you make one wrong move, his elephants are going to wrap you up. But at the same time, if I got too hasty and opened the gap for him, you know, then it would have also been bad. And then the Evocati cohort are actually a really good support unit in a cav fight. Seems like a weird choice, I know, but their attack is so high and their armor so high that they really do tend to be a great support unit in a cav fight. They can cut down enemy cav relatively quick. So this Campanian cav got a ton of kills. It was the only one that was worth it. So if you look at this, his other three did poorly, and his elephants did poorly, meaning that's a huge amount of talents right there that just didn't get used to their full potential. That's over 5,000 talents worth of his army, which is nearly half of his total talents spent. So bringing mercenary Campanian cav is great, but you kind of have to consider, what are these guys good for? They can go head-to-head with pretty much any other cavalry in the game, but think about that for a minute. Like, if you get them into a fight, let's say you've got a 1,200 talent Campanian cav, and you take it into a fight against a legionary cav, or even an auxiliary cav, it'll kill them, but it's still going to take a while. They don't cut them down on the charge like shock cav used to. It's just going to be a grind-out fight. And if you let a unit that's that expensive end up in a grind-out fight, and not in a rear charge or against enemy infantry where it's going to be more useful, then I think you kind of wasted it. He sent his elephants in kind of alone, with no screen. He sent his elephants in, and they got caught on my Evocati and then shot. I think if he would have been just a smidge more patient with his elephants, held off for just another minute, until that Campanian cav got around into my skirmishers, then what could I have done to stop him at that point? You know, I might have been able to bring that Evocati or my general to just slow him down temporarily, but see, it would have put him in a better position. I think he just got a little bit hasty there, and it ended up turning the battle into my favor. So interesting strategy by my opponent. It wasn't able to be executed there, but good game to him. It was fun, fun fight, and I hope you all enjoyed it. HeirofCarthage signing off for now.